Warning. Cargo transportation incoming.
What is up, everybody? Good morning, Zero Hoots. Andrew, glad you could catch the stream. All right. I think we're all set up there. Oh, two more. Come on. Are we close to Oiler boilers? Oh my goodness. So good. I don't think so. Where are they? I guess burner. I mean, not really, no, because they're py1 science and they're not at the beginning of py1 science. So it'll be a long time till we get that. Still a long time from Oiler boiler. Oh, let me get the music going. All right, I think we are good to go. So, yeah, we are working on rushing the Vrauks. One thing I am going to do, people keep reminding me I have a car. I have no fuel, literally no fuel. I guess there's a tree right here. I need to turn off my stone brick creation so we can save our 80,000 stone here from being depleted. iron's only 2.5 hours from being depleted. That seems really bad. Granted, I think iron's also backed up right now. No, it's... Or wait, that's ash. No, what's going on with iron? It's definitely not backed up. I'm not sure what's eating most of our iron. Maybe we should stop automation science. That's eating some iron. Oh my, and we have like a lot. I don't really know if I need that much. So let's back this up a little bit. Now that is gonna create spoiled flora that I don't remember if we handled that or not, so let me handle that manually. Hootinator, you caught up with the VODs? Nice. Good thing we can limit chests in Factorio, oh my gosh. Oh, I don't understand why you can't do that in Satisfactory. I really don't. Alright. I guess we actually just need to turn off these chests. For now. And let this back up. I guess I'll put this one to one slot. There we go. Okay, so now the stone brick will back up, and that'll reduce our brick usage. That will also reduce my keratin production. Is that going to screw things up? It might. Keratin is currently the only thing being used for the fuel right here, so we need a belt of raw coal to split with it. Alright, let's start the video. Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. So we got splitters finally, and we are on a mad dash towards the pYanodon's science. I was just thinking what we did is we closed up the stone chests so that way we can not spend all of our remaining stone on that. But then the other problem is when stone stops getting mined, this keratin is going to stop flowing. And so we need a belt of raw coal coming in, or something coming in to fuel the burner drills and stuff. So unfortunately, I don't have any belts right here with fuel on them. I think I had one and I deleted it, right? Or no, what's this belt? This belt right here. This is sus. Yeah. This, no, nope, just kidding. That's a stone belt. Or an ash belt. What is that? Oh, that's just another belt of processed iron. That's all that is. Okay, well, we've got to have a belt of coal somewhere over there, right? No? I just completely started relying on the keratin, I guess. So what all is the keratin getting used for, actually? It's getting used for smelting aluminum and copper and stone brick. That's not a terribly large amount of smelting. So I think what we can do, it's a little problematic because if I were to, because we need to bring whatever we have all the way down here to the aluminum. Because I was thinking we could just take this belt and split it. I do need some more splitters, actually. Oh, look. We have a lot of circuits. Oh, this feels so good. Look at how many splitters we have. It's wonderful. Okay, so what I'd like to do, first of all, is ditch this crap and use the splitter. And then Guess I can use a splitter here. Yeah. Okay. And then that's a belt that's just fueling all sorts of random things. We'll have that come this way. And then we should be able to splitter it with the carriage closer to the sauce. And by that I mean source. Yeah, so I'm thinking over here. We will split it input style. Heck, we can even have it right there. Input priority right. So it uses carriage first, but then it will use whatever's on this belt if it has no carriage in. Now, the only problem here is that belt sides could get a little wonky. But we do have carriage in kind of alternating onto belt sides, so that should be okay. Okay, so then this just needs to get connected down here. Alright, that should do it for making sure carriage depletion will not ruin me. Now, carriage depletion is not going to happen for a while. But I don't want to take any chances. So we shall not take any chances. Alright, sweet. So let's see. What's next? Iron usage, we can't really slow down, so that's just gonna happen. I mean, I could limit some things. What is iron mostly getting used for these days? I guess I could reverse these chests at some point if we need a few thousand more iron. But yeah, I think we're basically just using the iron we need to produce things, so that's fine. I guess we're using iron for circuits, but I limited the circuits too, so we should be okay on everything for now. Okay, so we decided Vrauks, beelining it for Vrauks is the name of the game. So we're gonna need probably another Vrauk paddock. I already have one apparently. We need all these things, which means I need duralumin, and we did make a smelter, didn't we? Am I making that up? No, here it is. We made a smelter. These are big AF, and they use fluid fuel, not power. So we'll need this guy, and we'll probably hand feed it for now, because it needs copper and aluminum, which is something we don't have readily available everywhere at this point. Why don't I just put it right... Yeah, let's just put it right here for now. And then we'll bring down the gasoline. Oh, you know what else I should do, now that I just thought of it, is make a few pie tanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I like these ones better, just because I think they look cool. They're the same size as the vanilla ones. The main difference, I mean, it's like 27,000 instead of 25,000. But the main difference is they connect on the middle instead of the corners, which I think is generally nicer. They also take forever to deconstruct, apparently. All right, let's clean up the hotbar a bit. We don't need this random moondrop thing. We don't need these things. Don't need those. I do want top-ups and overflows on the hotbar. And then we also are going to want probably a tank on the hotbar. Maybe next to the valves. Maybe the pump should go next to the valves like that. All right, anyway, I'm gonna go throw one of these on each of the outputs before they get sunk. So, aromatics, syngas, and gasoline. Let's see. That connects that way. This one will connect up and left. That. There we go. And then gasoline. Up there. Okay, so now there's some storage for each of those fluids. I guess we need to do tar or creosote as well. Okay, and that'll save us a lot of hassle. Now that things can buffer. Buffer. Sweet. All right, moving on. Smelter. He who smelter delter. All right, this goes up here. One of these guys. Bada bing, bada boom. Duralumin's the only thing we can make. Hand feed it some stuff. Boom! First duralumin produced. Feels good. All right. Is it more copper or more aluminum? It's more aluminum. All right. So I need a lot more aluminum for that. And then we'll grab a little bit more copper because I just ditched mine. Oop, we're also out of iron. I want to be careful with my iron, but I mean, we still have 160,000 ore, which is at least 20,000 plates. So we still know it's better than that now. It's 5-to-1 now. So that's what, 32,000 plates? That's not terrible. We're out of zinc for an unknown reason. Because we automated that. So I need to look into my zinc stoppage. But I was going to do something else first, which was grab aluminum, which is here. All right. So, why is zinc stopped? Zinc is stopped because we're out of fuel. And we're out of fuel because... What did I do? Oh. We apparently were using that line for fuel. What did... I remember something about this, but I don't remember exactly what I said and what I did. But it was clearly the wrong thing. Because I remember us saying we weren't using this third line. Because it was going to the old... well, it actually was going to nothing. This one was going to the tar production and coal gas production. And then I removed that. But then, what did I do? I remember cutting it off and being like, we're not using that anyway. But then apparently I connected it up to zinc. And then forgot that I did that? Maybe? I'm not really sure what occurred there, but that should fix that problem. We could have also used this coke, I guess. It's a pretty small amount that we'll need. And that should work for both? Yeah. Okay. It's all being splittered properly. So there we go. So that will get us zinc flowing again. And tin flowing again. Tin was also stopped up. And now duralumin's going, so let's go grab some duralumin. It's here, 42 of it. And that allows me to make some fancy new stuff, maybe? I need more titanium. And I need... Wait, why does that say 12 out of 20 duralumin? Oh, maybe it costs some to make... Yeah, it costs some to make the other ones. That's interesting that it subtracts 30. One of the ingredients in this must cost 30 duralumin. Is that the pie tanks? Do those cost 15? Where are the pie tanks again? Here. These ones. Yes, they do cost 15. Got it. Okay, so let me go grab more titanium. Actually use the car for once. Hopefully there we go, 500. That's a good amount. All right. Now we're talking. Yeah, we're talking. So then, also, how's fuel doing? I guess I should have brought more. But it seems to be doing okay. So yeah, we need to craft basically one of each of these 4 things, plus a reproductive complex, plus a slaughterhouse. So that's 140 titanium, 170, 210, 250, 265 titanium needed. It's not crazy. Plus, we're gonna need some medium amount for making like bio containers, and I think that's it. Do the codexes? No, Vrauks codices don't require anything. Okay, so let's start looking at the numbers on this. 1 Vrauks codex. That must be a turd recipe. Makes 1 Vrauks. How many Vrauks do I need? Do I need 3 to start? Because I need 2 for the reproductive complex. And then I can make eggs or cocoons with those 2 in the reproductive complex. And then I should be able to move those 2 over to a Vrauks paddock. And then I can run this recipe. The problem is it'll take 5 ever. So I would speed things up a bit if I made like 4 Vrauks. But is that reasonable? I guess that depends on how expensive these things are. And the moss gene samples, we should start making these now. I can make petri dishes already. That's just a bunch of moss. More petri dishes, more flora. That's all easy. And these are actually pretty easy-ish. So 10 biosamples per Earth DNA sample. So if I want 4 Vrauks, I need 80 biosamples. Yeah, that's doable. Okay. Unfortunately, seem to be lacking something. Titanium. Oh, these are 2 apiece. That's kind of a lot of titanium. Well, we'll get there eventually. Titanium mining is currently my holdup. So what do I need to make first then to get this process started? We're making the biosamples. The moss gene samples are made in a gene lab, so I guess we should get a gene lab soon. We really want to work on these because these... No, these don't craft that slow. I thought these took like 300 seconds a piece. They don't. So those aren't that hard to craft. All right, we'll get there eventually. Let's work on some petri dishes. So this thing should be filled up. Perfect. And then what did we need? Seaweed, which I have yet to find a home for. So I might move it. Basically anywhere that I can make steam, because we already have water if we're making steam, and then seaweed is also just water. So this is pretty easy to transplant. Basically anywhere. Oh, you know what else I can do? I could make a few more of our little friends here. If we want. And we'll move this over here. Alright, so we've got a lot of seaweed just chilling for when we need it. What else are we doing? Petri dishes, agar, seaweed. So much to do. I like the Vrauks chain though. I think it's a fun... Really in general, I think all the animal chains in Pi are pretty cool. we're gonna need a lot of space for our Vrauk chain. I'm thinking over here maybe. Base is already feeling too spread out. I don't know. Maybe I just put it next to circuits, but then it runs the risk of running into iron. It takes a lot of space. Takes a lot of space. Maybe I put it horizontally here. Yeah, that seems fine. I'll take 50 more circuits. That should be enough for now. And then, yeah, you can see how big these stupid things are. All right, so we'll start with 2 Vrauk paddocks. I'll actually leave a little bit more room to the left because we'll do the reproductive complex stuff on the front end. And then we're gonna need water over here. We're gonna need flora. Oh, flora spoilage is gonna be a thing. We do have flora right there, which is nice. Maybe I'll just use that. Yeah, I'll probably just start mining flora from here. But yeah, the flora spoilage is kind of a nightmare because we're gonna need it on the belts feeding these Vrauk things, and the belts are gonna be really long, right? Because we're gonna have to have flora on these, but it decays every 3 hours, and that means we're gonna be deleting like 1,000 flora every 3 hours. I guess that's not that often, but it definitely will add up over, you know, the long haul. Yes, Zyner is. I definitely am planning on doing some sort of control. I was just kind of talking out like if we just did it the normal way. The other thing is there is the flora spolinin recycling recipe where with, I mean, that's a lot of steam though. Until we have a better way to make steam, I don't think that's a great plan. Because you get 75% of it back by doing this. The one biomass can make a tiny amount of steam. But yeah, 30 steam is actually quite a bit. Granted, for the amount that we'll be spoiling, it might not be that much. I don't know. We'll figure it out. For now, I wanted to paste... or I guess I didn't copy... did I copy it? Or did I deconstruction planner it? I don't think I copied my seaweed build. That was a mistake. I just wanted to make the agar. Let's do that over here. Because we have water right there. Oh, but I need fuel too. Where do we have fuel? I guess up here might work because we have coke. Or even the raw coal right here. There we go. And there's water nearby. Okay, so this is a decent place for agar making. Agar the horrible. Can't you time the piece of belt in front of the flora miner so you don't mine a full belt? You could do that as well, so it mines very kind of slowly. The other problem about counting out the flora is that you end up having a big lag time, right? If you were like, oh, I only like mine flora until there's 50 flora on the belt. Well, it'll mine 50 flora, and then it'll take forever to work its way all the way to the Vrauks. So yeah, what we might end up doing is something more like that, where we end up, what am I trying to say? Where we basically have it so that it only mines 1 flora for every few belt segments. And what that does is that reduces the rate. And so then we can reduce the rate and count the flora on the belt. So then it only feeds flora kind of at the rate that the Vrauks want it, rather than more than that, so it won't fill up the belt fully dense. And then on top of that, we can stop if there's too many, which means once it starts backing up, and aka we don't need more Vrauks, then we'll stop mining it. And between those two things, that will reduce spoilage by like a ton. The only problem then is that it takes a minute to start back up. There's a lag time when we need Vrauks again. There won't be flora accessible until the belt snakes its way all the way there. So there'll be like, you know, a lag time of 1 minute or whatever, which isn't the biggest problem. You kind of have to have a lag time. Like, there's no way to remove lag time unless you want flora to always be accessible. And if you want flora to always be accessible, then that means more flora is going to spoil. So you can't have your flora and eat it. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta you gotta decide which, are you gonna have it, you know, quick access, or are you gonna, you know, have it so that it's not spoiling constantly. And you can't have both. Super Force build is beautiful. Okay, there's seaweed, and then steam. Oh wait, I need to go this way. Okay, and what did we need again? A high pressure furnace to make the agar. The agar is the thing that spoils, and then we dump that into, what was it? An assembler, actually? Yeah. Okay. And then we'll throw the petri dishes in here. We'll throw fuel into there. And then we need a boiler. The birdie boiler. To make steam. We need the water plugged into that. And then we need to feed that fuel. Ditch the ash. And then power. And baby, you got a stew going. Sweet. Alright, well that will make us as many things as we can handle. There is going to be bio crud happening if I don't deal with it. So I guess we should deal with it. We'll get a bio crud getter ridder of her. There. And there. That should handle all the places bio crud shows up. Technically this one might take bio crud out, but I don't care if that does. Alright, and I have way too much seaweed. I don't know. I didn't even really need to set up seaweed here. I guess I could have just fed the seaweed we already had. We are trying to rush Vrauks, right? I guess I'm not acting very rushed, am I? Alright, but that should be enough petri dishes, I think. How many? Do biosamples need petri dishes? No, right? No, just the moss gene samples. 2 each. And we needed how many? We need 3 per Vrauk, so 12, 24 petri dishes. Oh, 3. So that's 16 petri dishes per Vrauk. So if I want 4 Vrauks, that is like 60-ish. Alright. And then 4 Vrauk codexes. Can be handcrafted. Let's go get our titanium on. And then hopefully we have enough duralumin. It would be cool if Vrauks, baby Vrauks spoiled into Vrauks. Yeah, there are some interesting things you could do with that. I mean, I think it's hard because, you know, that represents the time aspect, but it doesn't represent the, like, feeding them aspect. Where did I leave the car? See, this is the problem with cars. Is there a mod? I think there is. Isn't there a mod that whenever you get out of a car, it just automatically picks it up? You don't leave it places. Where did I drive it? Oh, I left it at the titanium. There are just too many species. Yeah, Glam, there are a lot. And that, I mean, that's true of metals and ore as well. Like, they're all varied a little bit, but there are just like 50 different ore processing chains. I mean, that is kind of pYanodon's, right? it is a bit grindy in that sense. Like, there are just so many things to do. That is part of the rub. All right, well, we almost have 40 in those, so let's grab a few more here. There, oh, still a couple 39s. Come on. There we go. All right, we'll wait around for those to finish. You can add a pin to the car. I don't know if that works if you keep picking it up and placing it. I also don't like pins because they take up valuable screen real estate. So, I'm not a fan of the pin system that they added for Space Age. You can't collapse it, you can't categorize, you can't move it. It's very fixed to be one thing, and I don't really totally love it, and there's no customizability. It certainly was useful for like being able to click over to a space platform. I just wish I could have moved it somewhere else. I would have preferred it in the top left, or I just would have preferred a very short, or maybe even a button in the corner here, or a button up here where you can click it and it will expand all your pins, and then you can click it and it will minimize all your pins. It just was frustrating that it took up the same screen real estate as the tooltips. And yes, I realize that the official solution for that is you're supposed to have tooltips at the mouse cursor, but I don't like that either because modded tooltips take up half the screen. Heck, even Space Age tooltips take up half the screen. So I don't know. I'm not sold on that being the best solution for that. I don't know if I agree with Vrauks on that one. I think he's the one who's really a fan of the mouse cursor at tooltip. I also think there's a level of inconvenience of every time you want to see a tooltip having to press a button. It's a very different like gameplay pattern than just always being able to see tooltips. And obviously like you create a muscle memory for one, but pretty much most of the time when I'm mousing over something, I do want to see a tooltip. And I don't want to have to constantly be pressing a modifier key. All right, we have 129 titanium plates. That is not very many. Yeah, Kyran Z, that is the other solution, is you don't require a modifier key, but then the problem with that is that the tooltips are always showing up, and sometimes you don't want a giant tooltip covering half your screen just when you're moving, because then you're just moving your mouse around the screen, and then you have tooltips popping up everywhere that are really big, and I don't really like that solution either. So really, in my mind, tooltips on the side actually are the best solution, but then that really messes with how they did pins. I also think it's weird, because aren't tooltips on the side of the screen the Factorio default? I don't actually know anymore. What's default? Like if you buy the game and install it and just start playing, aren't tooltips on the side of the screen? Am I wrong about that? Or are they over the mouse? Okay, what can we actually make now? Oh, I need plastic too. Let's get that going. Plastic is really easy. Plastic is just aromatics and syngas in a biofactory, which means I need a biofactory, which means I need more duralumin. So let's grab our, oh, we are, wow. Are you kidding me? Look at this. We got the ratio within 6 more aluminum plates, and we would have had exactsies in terms of copper to aluminum ratio. I just kind of put some in there randomly, and I managed to somehow get it almost exactly what, wow, that's crazy. Anyway, that's probably not enough duralumin, so let's go get some more aluminum. I ran right past it, it's right here. 12 stacks of that. Let me get some more copper. All right. Now we can make a biofactory. And in that biofactory, we need to be near aromatics and syngas, which are going to be up here. We don't have both piped, so I'll just access from up here for now. Let's see, how do we want to do this? Let's do this, flip, go down, and then I can just do something like this and this. Boom. And then power's up here. Plastic. Bada bing, bada boom. It's actually, in some ways, easier in Pi than it is in Vanilla Factorio. Pretty expensive per plastic bar, but it's not... You know, by the time you've done tar processing, you already have both of these things available. So... I guess there's a world where syngas isn't available because you did something else with the coal gas or something. Like, there's a world where you didn't do this step of processing, and then you don't have syngas, but I don't really think that's super likely. Okay, so anyway, there's plastic, and now that should allow us to make bada bing, bada boom, a gene lab. And in the gene lab, we can start making the moss gene samples. And then bio samples are made in an incubator. I need more glass for that, apparently. Hey, Maria, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. All right, incubator, thank you very much. All right, gene lab. Where am I gonna put all this stuff? It kind of doesn't matter for right now because I'm hand feeding it, so I guess I'll just put it kind of accessible. Maybe I'll put it all in the same general... I don't want to put it over there. But maybe I should. Just to have it all in the same spot. Put this here. That still seems to be working. It's just the steam is really slow. Moss gene samples. We have a bunch of moss right over here. I don't know how much we need. They're 20 a piece, and I need 12 of them, so that's 240 moss. That's plenty. Alright. And then we need to grab the petri dishes. And it's 2 each, and I need 12, so I only needed 24. I'll just do it this way. Okay, so there's exactly enough for that. And then the incubator, we're gonna throw a bunch of flora in here with our bio containers. So there's 50. So I'll need 30 more bio containers. We said we needed 80. So there's 50. And I need a crap ton of flora. 80 times 15 is 1,200? Am I calculating that right? Yeah, 1,200 flora, and it only stacks to 50. So that's 24 stacks of flora. That's no joke. Which I don't have. I've been smart enough to not put it all in a chest, because then it spoils. So this is kind of a weird situation. 24 stacks. So yeah, basically a full chest. So I'll just let that fill up. I don't think we have to worry about the spoilage time, because it is 3 hours and 20 minutes, so we should be fine for now. Designer is, last time you played Pi, you didn't have syngas until you were making plastic. Interesting. Yeah, syngas is so much of a priority for me in Pi. All right, the car. Yeah, I would love a mod that basically makes it so a car is more like a mount. You know, in games where you have like a hotkey to just hop in your mount, and then you have a hotkey to hop off, and then it just would get put back in your inventory. You know, I find having to place it and then pick it up is pretty tedious. And if you leave it somewhere, oh god, I always forget it somewhere. Alright, we'll go until we're down to 40. There we go, perfect. Yeah, like in The Witcher, and then you summon your mount and you look around, and why is Roach standing on top of a house? It doesn't make sense, but Alright, yeah, the titanium is actually slower than I thought it would be. I maybe need more of these. I also need to go get more fuel. Let's go do that. We will grab as much coke as we can carry. And we have chestfuls of coke over by the old coal gas production site. Which is somewhere over here. How many of the Vrauks rendering products spoil? Don't ask that question. I don't want to know the answer. I don't want to know. Please, no. It's caged Vrauk. Where's just the normal caged Vrauk? 4 hours, 8 hours, 16 hours. Pretty much all of them. Chitin is the only one that doesn't, because it's, you know, just an exoskeleton dried out. I do have storage in the car if I wanted to use it. I didn't really feel the need for that much coke over here. Let's see. Nah, don't quite have enough. Need more small parts. You have gigantic mod idea backlog. Yeah, that is a problem of most mod makers, it sounds like. You guys all have too many ideas. Right, that gets me a whopping one. Is this a mining time 200% situation? It sure is. I didn't really see that before. No wonder it's so slow. 200% mining time. Alright, come on. Give me more titanium. We're up to 85. I guess we've spent quite a bit already. So what do I need next in the process? What would be smart? We need the data array. Okay. Because once I have the data array, I can start making the Earth DNA samples from the biosample. So I guess I also need 30 more bio containers. But I'll wait on that. Yeah, I want the data array first. We also need 50 duralumin for that. Slow process, that titanium. Oh, there's trees here. What do you know? You know what I don't like? The trees here. Let's get rid of them. Perfect. Alright, so what are we doing? I don't really know. Ah! Brakes on this thing. We've got... should have all that we need here. There we go. 12 moss gene samples done. These need a crap ton of flora, which we are working on. What's the mining rate on flora? Do I need more than one of these? It's 1 per second. I needed 1200. 1200 seconds is only 20 minutes, so that's fine. really a fear. Why is stone still running full speed? I am a bit concerned about that. So I want that to feed at an angle. Maybe we need 2 of these. Okay, so stone mining. Why is that not backed up? I would have imagined this would be backed up by now. I guess it could be the moss. I guess these are just still backing up. I could make that a little bit better by putting... It's kind of a pain in the butt. Oh, do these back up to the full 1000? Oh my gosh, they do. Okay, let's pivot. This is gonna say if stone brick greater than 3, or no, sorry, less than or equal to 3, it will run. And you're reading. Okay, so basically if we're backed up to here on stone brick, this is gonna stop feeding the furnaces. Because those all filling up to 1000 is a lot more stone than we have available right now. Although it is 2 per plate or brick, rather than things like plates, which are 10 or 8 each. So it is a little better, but still not great. All right, Duralumin, we probably have enough by now. Let's go grab that. I hope. 94. That might be enough. Because this needs 50. This needs 30 and a gene lab. So that's really another 50. So that's 100. And then we need the reproductive complex, which doesn't require any. The slaughterhouse, which doesn't require any. So I think that's actually it. Do we need another biofactory? Forget what all the biofactory makes. I don't know if we do. Let me go grab some more plastic. What all do you make? You only make plastic right now. Okay. There we go. And then I will grab... We're going to need a decent amount of these. How many exactly? For the codex... No, not the codex. The DNA sample. Earth. Oh boy. Generic. There we go. 15 apiece. We said we needed, what was it? 8 times 15 is 120 automation science packs. Okay, that's not this many. All right, there we go. Perfect amount. And let me go grab more small parts, though I don't want to grab too many because we're just trying to save iron these days. I also need, what else do we need? Some more belts for sure. Just grab a little bit of everything. Oops. Inserters were fine. Belts, we definitely need more. Everything else I think we're okay on. Alright. We gotta have enough titanium by now. Please, 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 please. We need to fix our color. Get that Krydax green going. There we go, that's perfect. Just a hint of red is about right. There we go. Alright, titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. Wait, what? I'm losing my mind. I swear it was just like 40, 39. It said 39 on all of them. And now we're down to 26. What? Am I... What just happened? Huh. Maybe these finished a recipe between those two droppings of titanium, and then there was less left for everything else. Must have been something like that. Oh, titanium is way slower than I thought it would be. That has been such a bottleneck. I mean, it's funny in pYanodon's, you know, if you automate something, you don't come back to it for like 5 hours and you're like, oh, I've got a full chest of titanium. But when you're actually waiting for something, it feels like it's the slowest thing ever. All right, there we go. We got our data array. Perfect. And we can start on that. I also need 30 bio containers. So I wanna chill here until we have enough for the 30 bio containers, I think. So maybe that's a bad idea. How many do we only need 14 more, which is only 28 plates, which is 280 ore, which is only a couple minutes. Okay, we can chill here that long. We can chillax that long. Yes, exactly. Non-zero is the name of the game with pYanodon's. Non-zero automation. If you can automate even 5 per minute, you know, it sounds terrible, but 5 per minute will get you what you need, you know, because you're not going to come back to it for 20 hours. And then by that time, you have a lot. It is interesting though, one fun thing about Pi is you'll automate something to like a really tiny amount and it'll be enough for a really long time, and then it builds up a big stockpile, you know, and backs up over that time, and then at some point in the future you start using gobs of that thing, you know, and you haven't ever remade whatever was making item A, and then all of a sudden item A is like gone and you're like, oh my gosh, I need so much of this, and you know, you were only making 0.1 of it per second before, and now you need like 8 per second. But you don't notice you're like that, you know, you're in that big of, you don't notice you're in that big of a deficit for a while because of the stockpile that was built up, which is the danger of buffers. Buffers are an interesting topic to talk about with Pi. In some ways buffers are evil, in other ways buffers are actually really good because it allows you like a grace period where you can support full production of something even though your inputs don't support it. And that can actually be really helpful as long as you're kind of managing the knowledge that you're in that grace period, you know, because otherwise things can cascade into failures constantly. But at the same time, that grace period can allow you to produce enough of the new thing to get a boost into a next tech tier. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing right now, even. I guess it's not really related to buffers, but the idea of like pushing further sooner so that you can make something better sooner, so that you can kind of in some ways skip certain steps. That's totally a thing. So buffers aren't pure evil, though I do think on average they probably, it's better to reduce buffers than have them for things that are not used for buildings. Things that are used for buildings, you definitely want to buffer just because sometimes you need 20 Vrauks paddocks all of a sudden. And so if you're not buffering those materials, that can be a problem. So for that reason alone, you do kind of want a buffer of a lot of items, but there's a lot of, you know, intermediates that are only used in it as an ingredient to another thing. And in that case, those things often don't. It's better to not have buffers. But yeah, you know, there's a very big difference in playstyles between people. Some people are far more reactionary, where it's like, I want to add a new build that for sure consumes more than my base can provide, and then they run into one problem after another where it's like, oh, I don't have enough iron, okay, I gotta work on my iron. Oh, I don't have enough this, I gotta work on that. And they just work on the chain all the way down. And then other people are like, I want to make sure I actually have my build planned out, and so I have enough iron, I have enough copper before I build this next thing. It's interesting because neither one is wrong. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I think I do a little bit of both. All right, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. All right, we'll come back for more titanium later. Yeah, and Height G, there are lots of times in pYanodon's also where you buffer something because you can't use it yet, and you don't really want to waste all of it and just burn it in burners or whatever, so you just put it in a big pile. I mean, that's what Ash Mountain is, right? Like, we've got multiple ash dumps that will run out. At some point, we're going to start using tons of ash, and we're going to stop using all the burners, and at that point, we now are making very little, and we're using more, and Ash Mountain will run out. But it's nice to have, you know, 10, 20 hours of free ash before we have to worry about making ash. So I do think building up Ash Mountain is worth it. All right, what are we doing? We're working on the data array. Where are you at? And this bad boy will make us the generic Earth DNA samples. And we also need the rest of the bio containers in there and a bunch more flora. And then we need to take the bio samples and put them in here with the science and with randomly iron chests, because it's like a DNA chest. I don't know. All right. We probably almost have enough flora at this point. Yeah, and Glim, I do like to set up alarms. We are a long way from alarms, unfortunately. They don't show up until pyscience 1, and then we also need to have batteries to make them, I think. No, I guess the speakers we don't need batteries for. Okay, so that's a little better. We won't see combinators for a while, though, because batteries are difficult to make. Here, let me show you guys what batteries need. And it doesn't look that bad. You know, it's like, oh, that's only 7 items, but cyanic acid is a giant pain in the butt because you need AUGs for that. The urea from AUGs. And melamine is a pain in the butt. And lead antimony alloy means you need antimony, which is a whole thing we don't have yet. So it's a pain in the butt. It is a butt pain. Alright. I don't know why I put that there. That's not where that goes. Visually, for whatever reason. I guess because this part sticks out a little bit. No. Okay, that should work. That should work. We'll see if we have enough. Flora. We probably are close. I don't think I quite have enough. It's 15, so that's 750. Yeah, we need a few hundred more. Alright. I mean, there's not always a bottleneck. Height G, it is possible. I don't know of anyone that plays this way. So, yes, in practice, I agree with you. But in theory, you could play where you always, you know, like everything you build is planned out in Hellmod, and you always make sure to work your way from the bottom up. So it's like, okay, I make sure I have the wood that I need before I start building things that need wood. I make sure I have the iron that I need before I start building things that make iron, and you work your way from the ground up so that you actually never run out of anything. It is possible to play with no bottlenecks. It would be really, I don't think I would have fun doing it. And I don't think most people play that way, but it is possible. Okay, what am I doing now? We've got the DNA samples. Now we need nothing. That's it. We just need the creature chamber. And then we'll be good to go. Okay. So let's go get more duralumin. We might actually have enough duralumin. No, we don't. We need 130. Jeez. Can the construction bots be added later in the game? Oh, you mean the little drones, the little, what are they called? Informatron looking things. I'm guessing if you add the mod after you start, you might need to cheat the actual bots in, because I'm guessing it's a startup thing that it does. Do I want more petri dishes? I probably should get more petri dishes going. They're kind of free to work on right now. I don't need plastic. I need duralumin. It's down here. Perfect. All right, and then we'll go hop in the car. Try not to hit power poles. You know what I want is underground power poles. You know how advanced fluid handling has these, you know, underground things? It'd be nice if there were power poles that worked that way so you could drive through them. So that when you have power connected across large areas, it doesn't make a wall that you run into with cars. All right. Boom. What am I missing? Oh, I need more circuits. Okay. That's doable. I'll wait till these are done with this recipe. Yeah, Glam, that is exactly how it works. You think, oh, I only need this one more thing before I can automate that item, and then it just ends up being the next 5 hours of gameplay. Let's see. My camera is a little too bright. I absolutely hate this camera, by the way. I need a new solution. The problem is this is one of the best solutions according to most. I have a Logitech C920, and it's apparently one of the best solutions that isn't something really complicated, where you have like an actual camera mount and that sort of thing. If anybody knows a lot about techie stuff and webcams, I would love a webcam that does plug in via USB, but is a bit higher tech and higher quality. Because this thing is such a pain in the butt, and the settings between OBS and the webcam fight with each other, and so like I'll start up my computer and the settings will be wrong. It's just the biggest pain in the butt. And like auto exposure, it like often is brighter than I want it to be, but there's no settings to lower. It's an absolute nightmare. Trying to get it right now. I guess that's about where I want it. But then it changes. I don't even know. All right. Moving on. So, we're also an hour into this episode, but I feel like we've gotten good work done. So I need more radar coverage. Let's put this guy over here. Oh, that's not attached. All right, so then creature chamber. Oh, I needed circuits. That's why I ran over here. Also, hello, Dave Cobra. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, and the thing is that like I don't need it to be. I mean, I'd like it to be a little higher resolution than what I have now. Don't need it to be anything crazy though. All right, I need steel and glass. Also, one thing I like about pYanodon's that is decidedly different than most mod packs is the cost for buildings is actually significant. In most Factorio circumstances, you can basically ignore the cost of your infrastructure and just siphon it off of whatever it is you're already doing. and it won't be a big enough hit that you'll care. You know, like the amount of... Basically what I'm saying is like the amount of steel you need to automate to get your science packs going fast enough is going to be so much steel that if you take the steel you need for buildings away from that, it's rarely going to matter. You know, that sort of thing. And with quality, you know, if you're doing quality gambling, that's now a bit of an exception to that. But in general, that's been true of Factorio and mods for Factorio. And I like Pi because it's like, oh no, these buildings are expensive. You need like... And it doesn't even look that bad when you look at it, but then you realize it needs a gene lab. And then you realize a gene lab needs 2 tanks and a biofactory. And then a biofactory needs 5 steam engines. And so you start adding all those together. And it actually looks like it does add those together properly in this one. And you can see we need 60 circuits, 70 steel, you know, over 100 of multiple plates. It's like, that's not cheap. Now, you do not need many of them, which is nice. What am I looking for? Steel. Sorry, I just got something in my eye, I think. Ow. Heck, do I have an eyelash in my eye? Maybe? We may need to take a medical break. Yeah, give me one moment. I will be right back. Alright, I don't know what's going on. There's no eyelash. It'll maybe work itself out. It has to do with the complexity. If the chains are easier, you need more buildings because you can build a lot faster. I mean, some of that is part of it, but I also think it's just the buildings are more expensive for the same kind of thing that you get in other mods. You know, it's just instead of requiring 10 plates, a Pi building will require 50, you know, and there's enough of that, and buildings often require other buildings in Pi. There's enough of that going on that it just ends up being relatively more expensive than other games, or other mods. All right, and then the last thing we'll need is this, which requires a little bit more iron and titanium. 200 small parts, which I don't actually have on me. Let's grab some more of those. I do have a cheaper way to make air core inductors at this point. I should switch eventually. Now I think I'm okay though. Alright, let's go get... Well, titanium's probably not quite caught up yet. Let's get the creature chamber going. Where's all my junk? And we probably should call this the end of this episode. We're an hour and 20 minutes in, and we're getting started on Vrauks, which feels pretty good. I think the only thing left is to get the rest of the flora, which is not that much. And then we should be able to grab most everything. I'm gonna stop that. Actually, no, I'm not gonna stop that. We'll let that build up. It's fine if we spoil a chest full. Because I need flora for like Vrouk cocoons and stuff like that. So I'm gonna let that keep going. So we have a supply. Speaking of which, we even need some for these Vrauks right here. But what I grabbed most of this for was this guy. Biosamples. And then we've got 2 DNA samples. So here we are, our first Vrauk. Nope, I need more petri dishes. No? No? Oh, it needs power. There we go. Yay! Our first Vrauk is being produced. Perfect place to end the episode. So we'll call that it. If you're here live, as always, don't go anywhere. We're gonna keep streaming. But for those of you from future YouTube recording land, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Spicy chickens. That's one. I feel like they're more like a praying mantis, like insect type thing than a chicken. It's a weird chicken. Yeah, like an ant. A weird ant beetle thing. Yeah, I don't even know if they lay eggs. They lay cocoons. Praying chicken. Alright, let's move that flora over to there for now. Got all the bio samples in here. That should keep the DNA samples rolling. Perfect. Alright, I need to take a quick break, and you guys can go stretch your legs, get some water, and we'll be right back. All right. AFK first Vrouk milestone. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that did happen, didn't it? Where is it? I want to see it. There it is. Woohoo! Alright, let's see. Let's go get some more titanium real quick, now that that's been cooking for a few extra minutes. You know what I might actually do for the first time is make little highways for the car. I never do that. Could be useful. Does anyone know about a mod that auto picks up your car? Because that would be so nice. Alright, there we go. There's a good amount. Oh, 80. Wait, what? Oh, 2 craftings is the most it can have. Because the stack size is only 50, I see. I mentioned in an earlier episode I might make roads out of different types of pavement. Yeah, I'm still considering that. Because, I mean, let's be honest, like, visual stuff is more fun when you're a streamer, you know. Well, it's not more fun, but it's like it's part of what makes the experience fun for viewers. So like if I try to make the base look good, that has a lot more value because I'm not the only one looking at it. You know what I mean? You know, it's like if it's just me, like, okay, who cares, as long as I like the look of it. But it's like, hey, a lot of people are looking at this base, so a lot of people will get enjoyment out of it if I make some, you know, patterns and highways and stuff. The problem is it's just already such a spaghetti mess, you know. It's gonna be a lot of work to clean up. But this is a Zen garden experience, right? We're cultivating joy and peace in our Zen garden, and that requires patience. All right, let's get this placed. Zengetti. Spaghetti-zen? Spaghetti-zen? Alright. We'll wait for this recipe to finish. I got some hot water. I gotta turn into tea here, and then we'll start recording the next episode. Oh, I didn't take a screenshot. Oh, this feels so good, though. I can just come over here and actually screenshot stuff without being there, because we have radars now. Alright. That's enough titanium for now. And then, yeah, let me go get my tea real quick. All right, Zen experience cannot be complete without a beautiful drink to drink. Okay. Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. In our last episode, we got our first Vrauk going. It has been completed, so we have one now. It is our first of many, but I guess only 4 for now is what we're planning on making. So we'll get the rest of these going. What am I missing? Oh, it's not missing anything. It was at 0% and I was like, it hasn't started yet. I think we've got everything we need for the last 3 Vrauks here. And then I was able to get some more titanium here, so we should be able to craft the old reproductive complex. And I believe... oh yeah, we also need a slaughterhouse. Slaughter house. And then I will need some microorganism mines. I'll probably make 2 of those. Need some more small parts. So yeah. This is going to be a good episode. We might... could we get our first pyscience 1 in this episode? Is that possible? Is it possible? Is it possible? Small parts, please, and thank you. I also seem to be missing something else important, because I can't craft basically any buildings. What am I missing? Glass. Those all require glass. And then we're also missing circuit boards. Alright. Where are those at? Down here. Oh, it'll be so nice when we can get all this consolidated someday. Someday. Sweet. I can handcraft it? Oh, okay. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I can handcraft a Vrauk from a caged Vrauk because I can handcraft a cage. I guess I actually should craft a couple. Because we will need to render Vrauks at some point for the formic acid for the pY1 science. But anyway, yeah, back to that. What do we need to do here? So I need moss, sap, flora, and water for the Vrauk reproductive process. Okay. So moss, sap's over there. I mean, sap we can make anywhere. Sap is literally just electricity. So that's nice. Flora's over here. I could route some down. So I guess I could... well, the problem is I don't have the room here. Do you see how big this thing is? It is absolutely monstrous. Oh man, these things are huge. Worst part is sometimes you need multiples. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I need to get stone brick over here. I can feel how slow we're walking. I think it's 22 by 22 units. That's nuts. Alright, so we'll get these guys going. It doesn't work until we provide it with, obviously, the 2 Vrauks needed to produce cocoons. I should finish Greg Tech. You're not the first person to say that, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. Alright, so let me grab some stone brick and we'll lay some brick. We also need to get another Patreon name in the Zen Garden. I'm really excited for pyscience 1 because we will unlock the floor tiles, and I'm going to do some decoration with the limestone tiles and the asphalt, and we're going to put like a yin-yang symbol in the Zen Garden where we put Patreon supporters' names. So I've got a fun plan for that. But for now, we just have stone brick, which is where? Right here. I was so close, yet so far. Alright, let's place some stone brick here. Get the rest of our circuit build covered. We'll go out to like here for now. I don't need the whole Vrauk build to be covered necessarily. Alright. There is something very calming about placing tile. I guess it's the color by number type feeling you got when you were a kid, you know? Coloring book. Alright, that's a little better. Now, what are we doing? We need the other Vrauk. We should have the second one by now, maybe. How long do these take? 6 minutes per Vrauk. Wait, is that right? No. Really? 400-second crafting time. Yeah, that's 6 minutes per Vrauk. Jeez. So we still have another minute to go on that one. So what else do we need? We need the flora. We need water, which should already be over here somewhere. And moss. Moss is tricky. We can make moss from water alone, but stone makes it better. I could bring this stone down and make some more moss over here. But oh, and we need coke for the CO2 for moss. Let's see. Let me make a few moss farms. Alright. There's our Vrauk the second. It's completed. Alright, let's get a Patreon name going while we're over on this side of the base. And yes, we will make it look more like a garden over time. Don't you worry. Alright, who's lucky number 4? Lucky number 4 is, drumroll please, Glam! Alright. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, this is where we'll put a yin-yang symbol in here with the different tiles, and we'll get power over here and get some lights going. It'll be and then I think I also have the water fill mod, so we'll put some. We can put a couple little ponds, maybe place some trees. It'll be great. All right, so our first. Vrauks. We need the barrels. Didn't I handcraft some barrels? Am I making that up? Where did I... No, I didn't handcraft them. I automated them over by steel. That's what I did. Which is up here. Yeah, there's the barrels. Alright, so I'll grab a stack of barrels. We've already got coke down here. So I should be able to... Oh, this is perfect. We should be able to make some CO2 over here into some moss. I don't even know. We'll just go right here, I guess. Bring the non-stone version. And then... I guess I need some feeder moss. And then what is it? High pressure furnaces? That make the CO2? 16. I have no idea what those need because there's no modules in them. What do you guys need? 60. No. Whoops. 5. And I think those go faster even than this recipe. Yeah, because they need 100 every 80 seconds. These only need 100 every 100 seconds. So that should be good to go. Just one of these bad boys. I could have also just piped over the CO2. I guess it is right there. I actually kind of like that better. Let's try to be a bit more centralized in our CO2 production. So we'll pipe it over. Try not to put too many things through the middle of my circuit build. I'll pipe it from here. Bada bing, bada boom. And then... What's up, Triangle? The circuits are almost here? What do you mean by that? We already have circuits. Alright, and then Muddy Sludge needs a soil extractor and a washer. We're out of iron. Yeah, we got circuits a couple episodes ago now. We are working towards PyScience 1 to get electric miners is the current goal. Alright, washer. Oh, I already have one. I do need pipes though. And we have so much science, I think it's worth another inventory size research. It's pretty expensive at 750, but every 5 slots is 5 more things I can randomly place in my inventory and not worry about it. So that's pretty nice. Alright, and then the washer for the Muddy Sludge. And then the water. Let's see, soil extractor. What are the rates on these like? 2 versus 2.5? It's pretty close. Alright, then we need some water here. Which is right over there. I don't think... Yeah, we can't clear this building, unfortunately. Tar processors are the biggest of boys. Well, they're actually not the biggest. The biggest is frickin' reproductive complexes. As we already measured, 22 tiles across. Yeah, I was worried this might happen. Okay, so that calls for a pump. Like so. 5 slots is 10% less anxiety. Exactly. Oh, man. CF, you got a Pi game started, and the beaker latex chain is so big it's dumb. Yes, welcome to pYanodon's, where everything sucks, and you're gonna struggle forever, but it's fun. Alright, that should be moss. Let me go get some feeder. What is it? How many module slots do these have? 20? I think that's 20. No, 15. I need 60. 60 moss. Alright. That started, and then get the output going, and there we go. There's moss. What else do we need? Water barrels. Water is an interesting beast. I need a barreling machine. And let's put water barrels on the belt with moss, because neither of them spoil. So that makes it relatively easy. Now, I don't mind deleting the contents with the AFH bug on this one because it's not a very big network, because it starts at the pump. I mean, it wouldn't really matter because water fills up really fast, right? We've got 3 offshore pumps, so it'll fill up in like 10 seconds. Alright, so anyway, that's good. So now we're barreling water. Those need to be on the close side. These need to be powered up. There we go. That gets us, what, 20 a minute? Should be plenty. And then that gets us everything but flora that we need. Sweet. Okay, so then we're gonna have some interesting things going on. I'm guessing we're gonna do some circuitry for this. I don't really know exactly what I'm gonna do yet. For now, we need to start with just making some cocoons. So that's right here. And that'll get us moss and that, and then flora, and sap. Sappy sap. Let's get some sap trees, which need soil, which unfortunately I don't have. I'll be able to grab some from this guy. Oh right, this is here. I don't know how many sap extractors I need, but I'm going to say 4 is enough for now. Grab sap trees. By the way, why is this... Oh, this is just that slow. Okay. This is still running fine. It just takes 5 ever. Also, what's up, J7? Welcome, welcome. TNT, there is no mixed fuel system as far as I know, but Factorio 2.0, with the way the fluids work, allows us to set up... Uh-oh, I need to bring that radar down a little bit. It allows us to set up stuff like this, where we pump different fuels into the same network, and basically that works fine now because of the ability that buildings have to actually empty out a pipe network now is... perfect. I'll put perfect in quotes. Oh, my tea. It's not quite perfect, but in the sense that it now will fully empty out a network after a few seconds, whereas before there would be little bits of fluid that might get stuck in some random corner, like 0.1 water or syngas or whatever. But now the whole pipe network is treated as one, like, inventory. So because of that, you know, basically the glassworks and stuff will soak up all the syngas, and then now there's no syngas in the network, which will allow this pump, which is trying to pump gasoline in, will start working. So you can kind of do mixed in that way. I don't know if it's quite like a mixed fuel, because you can't distribute it all over the base that way. But it's at least in the category. Oh, here's our jazz music. Let me pause Spotify for a moment. It's not very loud. That building's turned down, but yeah, there you go. Jazz music. Beautiful. Okay, so anyway, we need flora over here. So let me make a couple more flora miners. Probably in alien life. Yeah, flora collectors. And then the speed of this is slow. We're talking 2.5 a minute. Is that really it? No. The Vrauks need to go in there. 7.5 a minute. Okay, that's a little better. All right, so we'll grab some flora from down here, from down under. Power attached. Are we getting dinos? No dinosaurs for a while. Those don't come until we need Nexalit, which is a ways away. But we are getting scary, giant insect creatures. So there's that. Alright, I know there's going to be spoilage issues, but that's 3 hours down the road, so I'm not going to worry about it. No, indeed I'm not. These need flora too, so we can just do something simple like this. Alright, that should get us going on Vrauk cocoons. We need to get rid of the empty barrels. Let's do this. Uh-oh. Where is empty barrel? How is it not the first one or the last one? That seems problematic. Or is it actually called empty? It is called empty barrel. Okay. I kind of like that, because then you can search for empty instead of having to, you know, search through the giant page of barrels. Alright, and then the Vrauk cocoons we'll put over here. In a chest for now. And that should do it. Here we go. First Vrauk cocoon's getting made. You think native flora smart farms should come much, much earlier? Really? That's 12 million. It's not going to go that fast. I mean, even if the whole patch is covered and we're using, let's say, 15 a second, how long does 15 a second take to get to 12 million? 222 hours. So, it's not going to get eaten very fast. And that's if I was consuming an entire belt. And this is on the default richness, by the way. The old settings for Pi, basically, this was a frustration I actually had with pYanodon's for a long time, is they didn't have a good default settings for like ore generation and stuff. And now they have one that is, it's not perfect, but it's certainly better than it used to be. And the richness is cranked up to 500% for pretty much everything by default. So that's kind of the norm now. Hey, we got some Vrauk cocoons. So now what we do, what's the way that we do this? Should I, because if I split it, you can also have a loop going. I could do a sushi belt because the rates on these are so small. Maybe I just do a big sushi belt. Not a bad idea. Huh. Let's see. What are we talking here? Actual Vrauk production needed is going to be about this. Total rates here are combining to 0.6. Call that 1.15. I mean 2. Yeah, I mean we're talking less than 3 items a second total for everything. Everything. So that would all fit. The reason I wanted to check is if you're doing a sushi belt, you need to be really careful about lanes, right? And in this case, I could literally use 1 lane of a yellow belt and still have more than enough. So sushi actually seems like the way to go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say, now there is a slight problem with sushi is delay of items, but we'll figure that out. Because things don't get spread out very well. But yeah, I'm literally gonna put the barrels back on the same sushi belt. Oh, I guess if... It's kind of weird. I guess I don't need... Everything's different with sushi. I should filter off empty barrels. Because otherwise, you know, they'll just sometimes make it past the inserter, and that's kind of pointless. But yeah, I think this is fine. I could have a mixer, you know, to space out items from time to time. I don't know how necessary that is. But I kind of like the idea of sushiing everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up. And then we'll feed in a certain amount of flora based on the belt. This is also kind of hilariously pointless. That goes there. And then this goes there. So the flora will be enable disabled. This will be read hold. Flora is less than, yeah, let's put 40 on the belt. And then these are gonna put 40 moss on the belt. We can tailor the numbers as desired. I probably should have a mixer somewhere. The problem with a mixer is it splits. Oh no, a single mixer actually doesn't. You can have one. It doesn't actually split the belt reading, because it's still connected front and back. But yeah, something like this will help with, I guess what it does do though is it puts more items on the belt than necessary, but that should be okay, right? As long as, I mean, we'll do input priority left just in case of issues. But are there any other good overhauls in 2.0? I mean, some of them are being adapted to 2.0, but I don't know if any of them are like ready for it. All right, and we'll just put Vrauks on the same belt. Sushi belt. Sushi is king. Sushi is life. I think Factorio is going to be updated for 2.0. And I don't know if you're saying 2.0 or Space Age specifically, because those are different things. Yeah, it's possible I need to read this belt too. So the items on this belt get counted towards the totals. Might not be that big of a deal. We'll let it balance out for a minute and see what happens. But yeah, we should get Vrauks over here. Without too much trouble. I don't even know what to do with them. I'll just put them in a chest for now, I guess. And sap. Right. Completely forgot about that. Did I even check how much sap we need? I don't think so. Alright, those make 12 a minute. These need 4.5 a minute. Right. Perfect. Oh, wait. We screwed that up. We can't just have... Right. Do you know how to do a sushi belt with splitters, no wires required, and perfect spacing? I mean, I could attempt it. But no. The easiest way... Definitely too much flora on here. What's the easiest way to do what we're trying to do here? Because we want to filter pulling stuff off, but then that messes with the whole belt reading. I guess a couple ways to do it would be to just connect okay, let's do this. Copy that over here. And then we'll just do our filter splitters in a row. Like this. This will be empty barrel. This will be Vrauk. And then we can just connect these guys. Read all belts, read all belts. So now we've got this section, and this section, which does go back to here. And then we just connect that to the same line that everything else is hooked up to. And then we don't even need this one, actually. I guess if I want to, we might as well read this too. Yeah, I mean, sushi's a little messy, you know. I guess I could put the mixer closer by or whatever, but... I mean, that's fine. Alright, so I think we're reading properly now. Looks like it. And then barrels need to be thrown back in. Oops. I actually didn't want full barrels in there. I'll put the full barrels in there. Okay. I believe that works. These don't need sap. I am going to need 2 reproductive complexes eventually. According to this rate. So that means I'm going to move these even further down. Which feels ridiculous, but it is the way of things. And then do that. What's up, Dave? Yeah, we got splitters. You know it. We also have sushi. Alright, we got lots of cocoons. Alright, let me go grab the other 2 Vrauks that we made, and we can begin the actually raising Vrauks process, which should be pretty good for... I just did that to get rid of the blinking up here. You guys wouldn't believe, maybe some of you would, because maybe some of you are the ones that have left the comments, but you wouldn't believe how many comments I get complaining that I leave a research up there that's been completed and it's flashing. Like, the amount of complaints I get is through the roof. It's so funny. Like, I don't even notice it. I don't care. And other people are like, oh my god, how could you possibly do that? You're a sociopath who murders babies. You know, I mean, it's maybe not quite that extreme, but those are the vibes that I get. All right, we're definitely gonna need more total barrels on the loop. But yeah, we'll put one Vrauk in each. Have the best shot at this, and then, I mean, the cocoons just go right on the belt. No reason to measure that. The barrels always go on the belt. The cocoons are limited, so this needs to be a filter with cocoons. Did you guys know you could do that? I just did that for the first time in my life. You can pipette on a recipe, and it grabs the item. So that's pretty neat. Anyway, that is going to be measured to only work if Vrauk cocoon is less than, I don't know, 80? What's the actual number of things? You know, like, we should have the correct ratios here. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then less than 1 on water barrel moss. And this is more moss than native flora. This is more native flora than moss. These are gonna, I mean, I guess I should look at these numbers. Like the combined numbers. So the combined flora is 0.6-ish. The combined moss is 0.6-ish. The combined cocoons is about half that, and the combined water is about half that. So we could do 1, 1, half, half. Okay. So for moss, let's do 80. And then for cocoons, let's do 80. And then for, what's happening here? Oh, the barrel feeder. Never put that there. And then for flora, let's do 160. Wait, what am I doing? No, cocoons are 40. Flora is 80. And then barrels. Well, barrels are weird. I guess this is kind of interesting. Hold on. Barrels are kind of weird. We should limit them. I don't want too many barrels on here. Water barrel less than 40. Okay. And we'll see, you know, after this runs for an hour, we'll see where the like the item density kind of shakes out to be. Yeah, the pipetting everything everywhere is so nice. It really is. All right, well, this will be here eventually. These two will be on that one. I feel like this is more elegant than putting sap on a belt. What do you guys think? This just feels better to me. Like, why would I not do this? I feel like it's pointless to put sap on a belt at this point, because it's the only place it's needed. It's more than enough. I don't know. That just feels easier. I'm not gonna put it on a belt. All right, and then we need to copy this sort of setup to this one. I mean, I guess they can go on this spot. It feels a little wasteful. I have them go all the way around. Yeah, I'd rather have it I'd rather have it here, because then it gets to the spacer sooner, and the spacer is helpful for keeping things properly spaced. So this, by putting it on the return belt rather than the outgoing belt, we have the overall belt spaced out sooner relative to the whole process. So I think that's a little better. And then we need one feeding it. All right. Oh, flora can spoil. Okay, that's going to create problems in multiple places. So problem one is that puts flora spolenen as a possible trash item from everything on this belt. So we need to get flora spolenen output. These are just outputting everything, so that's not a problem. And then, yes, I do need to filter out the fluorospalanin, or, I mean, rather than filter it, I could just grab it off the belt with filter inserters, just to keep it clean. You know, for now. Until we have a better solution, this is fine. Alright. Get some light going. I might actually increase my lamp radius even further than it already is. It's already like almost doubled over vanilla, but I might still go even farther. All right, hey, this is running. Look at this. We got Vrauks production happening. Does it make one at a time? No, it makes two at a time. Beautiful. Yeah, Kyran, this is not a finished solution, so I'm not gonna worry about that right now. But yeah, this whole belt will spoil, and that will be a problem. Basically, I need to belt read this belt and keep it limited to a certain amount of sushi. I guess I could do this. No, I'll fix it all at once, because we're gonna do something different later. I'm just getting that first 50 Pi Science. That's all we're doing here. And speaking of, how many actual Vrauks do I need for that? We need only 25 Vrauks. That's it. That is it. So let's start working on the other steps then. Because that's... I mean, we're going to want to put the Vrauks back into here so that we can spin it up faster, but that's not going to take that long. So... And let's get rid of all of our other random things here. Moss. Random flora in my inventory. Random ash, random logs. Random coke. Random lime. Random biocrud. Alright. What tech are we using the 50 Pi for? We are doing... electric mining drill. Because we're almost out of copper and iron and stone, and I don't want to have to deal with taking fuel to these patches and ash from these patches, because the stone's way out here. So just having one belt that comes back without having to deal with like the ash and fuel is a big deal. So that's why we're rushing 50 packs and kind of ignoring automating a lot of it for now. Because that one research is like heads and tails better than anything else we can do right now. All right, what am I doing? Let's actually look at the plan. So a slaughterhouse. I mean, let's start with the final thing. Let's get a research center crafted. And then that used like all my resources. So I need some more stuff. Do I need aluminum? I don't need aluminum. Grab some of these, grab some more small parts. Air cores, I do need a few more. Like to have 200 belts, definitely need some. Take 500. I'm gonna ignore AFH for now, and then I'm gonna grab some Duralumin. Get a little bit more. I don't think I'm gonna need a ton for these last few buildings. I have a lot of stone brick here that I don't actually need to have in my inventory. And then I needed glass? No, I have glass. Iron. Iron's what I need. I love that sound. It's so satisfying now. And then I'll go grab more titanium. I'm excited to use oil sand. For whatever reason, that's one of my favorite resources in the game. I can't explain it. Ugh, I needed fuel, apparently. Alright, there's a decent amount of titanium. Might actually be enough for me to get all the way done with this tech. Because what do we need titanium for anything in here? I don't think we do. No, these are all very, very raw resources, apart from the petri dishes. Most of what you need for pie science is biological. It's really interesting. Like, you need fuel. Stone is a raw resource, you know, but moss, flora, sap, seaweed, limestone, water, water barrels, wood, those are all just water. You know what I mean? Like, I guess technically there's some coke included in the moss, and there's some potentially some stone included in the moss, but there's already stone there, and there's some ash included in the wood, and that's glass. And the diesel is just fuel, and the yeah, it's Pi 1 is purely biological. I don't think I ever realized that before. Apart from the stone and limestone, which are sort of biological in a way. Hand feeding furnaces like I'm Mike Hendricks. Yes, that is what I'm doing apparently. Yeah, and like, I know that, Trippy, that they were mostly biological, but I don't think I ever realized it's like basically 100% biological. Like, you don't need any metals at all in any form. And the only non-biological things you're using are like stone and a petri dish. Everything else is very biological. And the coal, and those are just fueling those two things. So that doesn't really count. So we are going to need a lot of cellulose, eh? Alright, well, we'll deal with that later. Yeah, I need to bring more fuel the next time I come back here. Alright, we'll call that good enough. What do I have? 218. I should probably grab more fuel now, unfortunately, because it's gonna, you know, I could make the second one of those. That's probably not worth it. Let's grab. You still haven't finished the Vrauks? Are you kidding me? How long does this take? We're looking at 11 times slower. That's 33 minutes. Holy cow. Holy Vrauk. That's a 33-minute timer right now. Alright. That'll take a while. But when it's done, I'll have 4 more Vrauks. Oh, you know what? I could speed it up. I could double the time. Or, well, double the speed. Half the time by doing this. I guess it's not doubling. That's only 50%. I should probably do it like this. So then that one finishes quite a bit sooner. Get rid of the car, otherwise I'll forget it. And what was I even doing? I was crafting substrate. Let's work on the substrate. So I need 300 substrate. So all we need is microorganism mines, a bunch of petri dishes, and then wood and limestone. Okay, we can do that. I need some high pressure furnaces near the wood and limestone, which is just wood and water. So these two can make cellulose. Because we got wood right there. And then we're gonna need the microorganism mines to make these incubated petri dishes. Now those spoil in like half a second, so we have to have everything else ready. Wait, what am I doing? cellulose plus these. We have something like this. And then the substrate. I'll just have the moss ready. I don't know. We'll do something like this. And we'll just put the moss on a belt. We go grab a bunch. How much am I gonna need? 150 is it? Take 300. Double or nothing. Okay, so there's moss. We'll just throw some logs in there. Fuel them. And then we need limestone. So a soil extractor. Am I gonna regret bootstrapping it this way instead of automating it properly? I'm not sure yet if this is actually a good idea or a bad idea. Because I'm wasting time in the sense that I am going to have to set this up the right way. But I'm also saving time in that by doing this, I'll be able to set up things better. But then, am I going to do the whole if you give a mouse a cookie thing where I'm like, well, since I already have all the things I need to get Pi 1 science, maybe I'll do another science. You know, like what other sciences are there that are really early on? That might be super useful. Like raw coal to coke could be super useful. That's another 50 packs. Steel furnaces, not so much. Or gas furnaces. Oh, right. Those consume fluid fuel. We're not going to do that. Warehousing and burners are also only 50. So those... that could be worth... some time as well. Crawdad. It'll be a long time before we see one of those. It doesn't seem like there's too much craziness that would like completely change everything. It could be worth going for warehousing as well. Yeah, the crusher does unlock the like stage 1 raw coal stuff that allows you to get crushed coal. That's powerful, but that's not gonna change how I like rebuild any of this stuff mostly and get to the point where I've Pi 1 automated. So I do think it could be nice to get the burner and the warehousing. Can I make burners? I can. It's titanium, but I can make that. And then the warehouses I can make. So it could be worth doing like 100 or 150 packs. We'll see how easy this ends up becoming. Actually manage all this. Because that's... oh, the game was paused. I was like, how have we not gotten any limestone yet? It's because the game was paused. That's right. Alright, so the cellulose is going to spoil. Petri dishes are going to spoil. Back into a petri dish, though, which is kind of nice. At least they don't delete the petri dish part. Or the agar. I mean, they could totally, you know... Pi hard mode, you know, incoming, but they could totally be like, oh, it decays into a dirty petri dish, and then you have to send it through a cleaner building to clean out the petri dish and then refill it with agar. Like they could totally make you do all that. They were surprisingly kind. Anyway, microorganism mines need to be ready to go. The timing of this is kind of weird. Like, it makes 0.1, and these make 0.05. But we need them at a ratio that isn't 2 to 1, so that's not exactly the same. So there's some figuring out I will have to do at some point with all this, but for now we're just gonna get it to a functioning state. Let me get some more copper here. And I need to grab the petri dishes. I need to grab, whoa, I do not want 3,200 copper. Thank you very much. I don't even want that much. I do need to grab more petri dishes. Yeah, Kickalk is pretty rough. I remember we actually got to Kickalk towards the end of my last season. It is not easy. All right. So you get 200 petri dishes. There we go. Where did the rest go? Shouldn't I have some extras? I do. There we go. All right. Is it 1 per science? 1.2 per science, apparently. Out of logs now. All right. So this is good to go. I just need the wood on this belt. Oh, ash. Shouldn't surprise me. You know what would be so cool? Okay, hear me out. It would never work in the game engine, you know, this is a Factorio 2 type feature. Not 2.0, but 2. Would be belt decorating. Like, what if we could somehow have it so that, like I want this to look like an ash belt, even when there's no ash on it, you know? And like, how would I do that? And I'm thinking like Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you like can color the rails, you know, and the supports and stuff. Like, what if we could color parts of the belt, you know, not the main yellow bits, you know, that show you that it's a tier 1 belt, but the other parts. Like, what if there was like a splash of color along the sides here that you could paint on different belts, and you know, it would also paint part of the undergroundy. That could be pretty neat. All right, let's do this, and this, and that, and then we have wood. And cellulose is going. I know we're gonna get spoiled biocred in there, but that's a 10-minute thing. Yeah, it looks like ash has worked its way into the cracks of the belt. Exactly. Alright, well, once the cellulose is running, I should be able to fill these. And we're good to go. What's the recipe time on this? 3.5 seconds, so 7. No, these are full 1 speed, so that will be 3.5 seconds. But we need 3 cellulose in there first. Uh-oh. I just realized we're gonna have a problem. That's gonna spoil before the second one gets made. Oh, jokes. That's really funny. So I need both of these going into 1 assembler. That is crazy talk. And then both will come at the same time. It'll start a recipe, and then we'll be good to go. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some craziness to get this all to work properly without any decay. Actually, maybe not. Maybe this is all we'll have to do, is just direct feed into 1 assembler. And we only run these buildings if we both have a need for substrate and this has no incubated petri dishes in it. Or really, I mean, I guess if we run out of those, we could have issues, but we could always just recycle the petri dishes back around if we end up not using them which won't be a problem if we already have too much substrate anyway. I guess it would make an infinite loop that wastes power. If we're out of moss and we need substrate, it's gonna keep running the incubation process and we're gonna waste power, but that's not that big of a deal. I don't know if it's worth saving that power. There's that part of me that's like, I never want things to spoil, but given that it's just a direct cycle back to the ingredient, it might not be that big of a deal. Anyway, we've got substrate. I meant to put a chest here. There we go. Yeah, the cellulose is gonna spoil at some point, but for now it's working fine. And that's too little amount of cellulose. We actually don't have enough cellulose now. This needs to be there. This needs to be right there. Alright, well this monstrosity should basically give me some biocrud and substrate when I feed it petri dishes. Petri dishes don't spoil. It's only the incubated ones that spoil back into petri dishes. So it's pretty nice, you know, you can just loop them back if they spoil. But the thing that's not nice, I think we talked about this. The decay time is 45 seconds, but the recipe time is 20 seconds, which means literally they're already half spoiled as soon as they come out. I guess my original strategy would have worked. I did the math wrong. They come out with 25 seconds left. The next one is already being crafted, and then the second one would get direct inserted right when this one's about to spoil, and then the recipe's good to go because the result isn't spoilable. So you actually could do 1-to-1, one microorganism mine to one burner assembler. It doesn't need to be two at the same time. Though this is, see, I'm out of moss now because I screwed this up. And now we're gonna get those spoiled, which is fine. Just put them back in. Grow some more microorganisms. What is this thing doing anyway? What? I don't understand how this building works. It's drilling to grow petri dishes? I don't totally get it. Maybe it's just putting some dirt in petri dishes and seeing what happens. Maybe that's what's going on there. I don't know. Dyson Sphere program has a process where you can put a small icon on top of a belt that lets you know what the goal of the lane is. Yeah, that sort of thing is kind of what I'm getting at. I need to grab some more fuel for the titanium area, so let's do that real quick. Back to our giant piles of coke over here. Oops. Wow, that's a lot of damage. How much? These only have 100 health. Seaweed farms are not robust, apparently. How many pie runs have I done? Well, this is season 3, so 3. No, that's not true. I've done, before I was a content creator, I would say, 1.5 times I played pie before being a content creator. Way back in the day, before Alien Life existed, I did play pie all the way to red circuits. And then there was another pie attempt somewhere in there that didn't get as far. And then, other than that, all of my pie play has been on stream in the 3 seasons. And season 1 is different in that it did not have alternative energy. It was before that mod existed. So pie is significantly different now than it was in season 1. So I have, and this is true of anyone who's been playing pie throughout the years, but it's like my brain has different categories of like how things work, because alien life changed all sorts of stuff, but my brain still sort of remembers some of the way things worked before alien life, and then alternative energy also changed a lot of things, so my Pi knowledge is sometimes very wrong because of those memories. Alright, I don't know why I'm doing titanium. We don't need more. I just wanted to make sure the mines were running. But yeah, okay, let's check on the belt here. How's it looking? Looking pretty good. Things are spaced out. I feel like things are spaced out nicely in a way that... I mean, we can double check. But when a recipe finishes, I think it will have... I mean, it definitely will have enough time to get the ingredients filled now because of how slow it is. But even when it's going full speed, I think it'll have more than enough time to get the 15 flora that it needs. And it's already, right, it's inserting, it's preemptively grabbing 2 recipes worth. So it has more than enough time. More than enough time. The problem is going to be that means we have extra flora spoilage. So what I could do is... we could set up... Yeah, that's going to be a problem. You know, multiplied by 8 Vrauks pins, that's 240 flora that's just sitting. That we don't really want to be sitting there. One thing that I could do is just reduce it down. I could have one inserter. I mean, this is the simplest version. Is we'd have one inserter that's blacklist on flora for everything else. And then we have another inserter that's whitelist on flora, but it's wired up and it only inserts if flora is less than 15. And then we read contents. And we do not include... Oh! We could also include the contents in crafting, but then it won't start inserting the flora until the previous recipe's done, so we don't want that. We do want it to grab 15 to have waiting in the wings, so that as soon as this Vrauk's done, the next one starts crafting. But that's like the simplest way to do it. I think I will do that. It'll... it will save me a bit of hassle. And I could do the same for the reproductive complex here. Seems like we already have enough cocoons for now. That makes sense. We won't need more for a bit. 27 hours into Pyrun. Have I just started? Yeah, I mean, basically. It's crazy how 27 hours is still like... I mean, I don't even have electric mining drills yet, you know? It's really crazy how this works. Okay, so anyway, the research center... I don't know, we can plop it wherever. Let's put it over here. We're gonna need a bunch of this substrate. Look at that, I already have a ton. This is going swimmingly. So the only other thing I need is glassware. The only other thing, he says. So we need a DDC creamy latex, which is sap and limestone, which is... So I need some more sap trees, which means I need more soil to craft those. Let me grab more petri dishes. And then grab some soil. I don't know how many I need. I'll do 2 for now. Maybe 4. 4 buildings worth, that is. Yeah, to Ronin, that's reasonable. Pi is gonna have to revisit every single building because you didn't used to be able to attach wires to buildings. Right? That's a new thing. So every single Pi building, you know, has has not defined where the circuit connection goes because that's new for Factorio 2.0. So it makes sense that that's not done yet. I hope it gets done at some point. It's not the fun kind of work, but it is the kind of polish work that I always hope mod creators do. Sometimes, you know, there are some mod creators out there who would certainly answer it like, well, that's not something I ever plan to do. But I think Pi has enough people working on it, and it also has enough people who are willing to work on it that they could do a pull request for that, and somebody will do it eventually and do it, you know, do it on GitHub, and they'll accept the GitHub whatever, and it'll happen. Because yeah, it doesn't look that good. Have it just randomly connect in the middle. Okay, what was I doing? Greetings, also, Bo Fixnix. Welcome. We are needing to make a couple more sap trees. And I was going to do creamy latex, which also involves a soil extractor. We make a few more high pressure furnaces. Let me just pin this because my brain can't hold it. So we need basically the rubber stoppers is what I'm focusing on right now. So high pressure furnace. I need steam. Maybe this coke here. E for steam. This is such a mess. And then the water. And then ash. All right. I do have circuits. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing having circuits. All right, so that's that. So there's steam. Do we need it in multiple places? No, we don't. Latex. Latex just gets crafted into rubber stoppers, and rubber stoppers need to go to a glassworks. So we'll pick those up manually for now. So yeah, for now we'll just do this. Latex, rubber stoppers. Actually needs coal. Like that is an ingredient. I forgot about that. So frustrating. Because we don't have any coal right now. It only shows up in the midst of our tar processing. So we're gonna have to steal some for now. Now you can turn wood into coal, which might end up... what's the number we need? 0.25? That's probably what I'll end up doing then. For now I'll just yoink a bunch. From here. I guess that's not as much as I hoped it would be. Here we can fill a few slots in a chest. And then, what else do we need? The creamy latex and the sodium alginate. The sodium alginate is stone, limestone, and seaweed. And then the creamy latex is limestone and sap. We need quite a lot of limestone for this. Where am I? I keep getting lost in this base. This is going to be a problem. So the latex is cooked here. We need the latex slab from the DDC. And this one needs the creamy latex, which comes from a washer. need to craft. Oh, we're an hour and 14 minutes into this video already? What is going on? pYanodon's is such a freaking time loop. Or time warp. I swear we just started this episode. Okay, sap, extractor. For now, I'm just gonna put it in a chest just because I don't actually think the rate is gonna be fast enough. So I want to stockpile it a bit. And then okay, sap, limestone. And then limestone also goes into the thing cooking the sodium alginate, which is this guy. And then we also need water for that, which go this way. And then we need a soil extractor for limestone. Okay. I mean, we got there, I guess. Mostly. Ah! Of course. Where's a good place for a pump? Here? Sure. Alright, so that's done. Power this up. Slam down a lamp or two. And baby, you got a stew going. Alright, I think we will need to feed stone and seaweed in manually. That one's good to go. Okay, that's automated. Let me go grab stone and lime and seaweed. And then I think the only thing we'll be missing at that point is how much stone are we talking, by the way? 250, so 5 each. Okay. That should be enough for now. The only thing we'll be missing is the formic acid, which is what we get when we render a Vrauk in the slaughterhouse, which we actually could already do. I have the slaughterhouse. The only thing stopping me is that I want the Vrauk reproduction to keep making more Vrauks, so we can spin this process up. But we're getting there. We've already got 4 more here, which finishes out, not quite finishes out this building. So we should see Vrauks picking up here in the next half hour or so, and then we can start rendering them for the formic acid, which will mean we can make our first pyscience. We're actually going to do it. Sweet. I'll probably end up making 150. This is actually pretty easy, what we're doing. There was one last thing I was going to do before I finish the episode, and I already forgot what it was. Seaweed. That's what. Seaweed is over here. Seaweed. I guess we're not putting it in a chest, and I should. Already have a bunch in a chest, though. Seaweed, I need 11 each, so it is a higher number. There's some more petri dishes. This is actually still running for a long time. We have 118 more on the way. That's just a slow process because the steam is slow. Oh, I can't wait for better ways to make steam. It's gonna be great. And then these go in here, make more substrate. I've already got enough for my 50. And then I'll feed the seaweed over here. And that gets us sodium alginate. We've already got creamy latex. That goes over here. And then that goes in here. We need to feed coal in, and that will do it. We officially have rubber stoppers done, minus the Vrauk rendering. So we're almost there. Cool. We're going to call that an episode for the future YouTube recording purposes. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Right. Yes, electric mining drills and burners are going to be very nice. That's why we're doing it. That's why I'm rushing this. I might do... Will I do floor tiles? Probably not. I could get some floor tiles going too. I don't think anything else is really worth it. I mean, everything's worth it eventually, but as far as like rushing it, maybe this one? What do these cost? They're expensive. And we need a lot of them. It's a really slow process too. It only handles 1 raw coal per second to do this recipe. So it's pretty rough. The problem with it, or the good thing about it is it produces a ton of extra fuel. Because you can see 3 raw coal, which is 9 megajoules, produces 2 regular coal, which is already 8, plus a crushed coal, which brings you up to 14. So you're going from 9 to 14 megajoules, plus another megajoule of coal dust. Crushed coal does have a use, Gaming Strudel. Basically, crushed coal, once you get to green science, it has a use, which is turning into a lot more coal, and coarse coal, which also turns into coal. So basically, crushed coal turns into 3 coal per piece, almost. Like 2.5 coal per piece, but not until green science. So until then, you're just using it as fuel for whatever. But yeah, there's different things there. We also get our first mining productivity not that far into Pi1 science. A nice modest 10%. But yeah, is there anything else we really need? What is this? What the heck? This is a new recipe, right? I've never seen this before. You can turn limestone into soil. Pi hard mode recipe to get rid of limestone. Yeah. Interesting. Why is my camera overexposed again? I just turned it down a minute ago. I do not understand camera settings. This webcam is terrible. I'll just turn it on auto exposure. But see, then I feel like I'm way too bright. But then what I've done before is I've gone into OBS and I open up the filters on OBS and I go to color correction and I turn down things like brightness or saturation or gamma. Not that I understand the difference between all those. But then it seems like sometimes the camera is then compensating for what the OBS settings are. It feels like it's this weird feedback loop and it just never looks right to me. And then when it looks right, it'll be the next stream I'm streaming and now it looks wrong again. It's ridiculous. Never get it the way I want it to be. Hey, thanks for the follow, Pyro Moose. You just finished C Block. Is pYanodon's the final boss? I mean, yeah, if you're looking for difficult Factorio mod packs, then I think it would be appropriate to call pYanodon's the final boss. It's definitely a different type of mod, so some people like it, some people don't, and neither group of people is wrong. You really have to take a much more laid-back approach to enjoy pYanodon's, which sounds weird because it's harder, but like you have to chill on making progress and just enjoy the process of setting stuff up. A lot of people will bounce off it because it feels very tedious and like, oh, you just need 50 things to make one item. But it's like, that's kind of the point. That's kind of the fun of it, is that it's a long and drawn out process to get one result. So If you enjoy that, pYanodon's might be for you. Soil transfiguration. Exactly. Not really. Oh, we need more chests here. I guess I don't need to carry that many around anymore. It does have a lot of options, but I mean, yes and no. Like, you still have to get pY1 science, and pretty much everyone has to do the same things to get there. There are more and more options as you go through, but even then there's a lot of places where there aren't options. It's very much a game that part of the fun is having different ways to accomplish the same task, or more accurately, I would say, you don't... That's what I'm looking for. Sometimes there aren't different ways to accomplish it, but it's more like there are different recipes you could use along the way, and then the different turret upgrades. It does feel like, oh, I could just build the earlier iron build that's not as efficient for iron ore twice as big because I have lots of extra iron ore, and so I don't really mind that it's not that efficient. You know, and you could build that twice as big, and then it saves you a bunch of time down the road because you don't have to upgrade it because you are getting enough iron plates. So there's those sorts of choices that other mod packs don't tend to have. With other mod packs, it does tend to be like you kind of need to go in a linear order, or there's only one way to make something. Pi has a lot of spaces where there's more than one way to make something. Anyway, I don't really know what I'm doing at this point. I think... Unfortunately, we're not going to have time for another episode today, so I'm kind of just derping around. Waiting for Vrauks to be slow AF. Because we still need 8 more to fill up this building. And even then, when those are both full, we're still getting like 0.75 Vrauks a minute only. So I probably need to actually spin up more of these. I don't think 2 is going to be enough. Let's get those crafted. Because the amount that we originally had slated... didn't mean to do that. 0.1 a second, which is 6 per minute. Requires 8 Vrauk paddocks. So 4 Vrauk paddocks will work with 1 reproductive complex. Is the spicy music still in the breeder? Yes, yes. The reproductive complex still plays smooth jazz. When it's running, at least. Alright, is there anything else we need to do? I think we're pretty good. The rendering is a little sad. Spoilage so far hasn't changed that much. I mean, it's definitely changed, like, the feeling of, you know, figuring out how you deal with flora, like we're doing here, or the cellulose and the microorganism mines doing the incubated petri dishes. But the big difference that I'm feeling is these... No, that's not better. Where is it? Is the rendering... Most of these are decaying into something now. And it was really nice to build up a huge stockpile of meat, guts, and brains before. But now they just decay into whatever that is. They all decay into the same thing, which is jerky. So now we're gonna have jerky all over the place, and you can't... And there's no, like, turning it back into the original thing. So now meat, brain, and guts are far more of a... You know, you can't stockpile them type thing, which is a pretty big change. Because the meat was used as food for the caravans, and the brains, or no, maybe it was the brains that were used as food for the caravans, and the meat was used as food for the Digosauruses. Yeah. So, yeah, but now you kind of have to produce those on a consistent basis. Jerky can be used as food too. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, that's good. Okay, well that helps a little bit then. Hey, more Vrauks. I mean, I could start these up, but that feels... Is that slower? It's gonna take 30 minutes before they finish, but I guess... Well, I don't know. I don't know how the math works out. I don't know if it's faster at the end of the day to add one to each of these. I know it's technically faster, but these are going to take 33 minutes before they finish their first one. So would it be more faster to just have those 2 modules here, so this one finishes sooner, which then gets me those 2 modules sooner, which then gets me the next 2 modules even sooner? I think you guys see what I'm saying. I don't know which one's mathematically faster. But either way, Vrauks are slow. We're up to 36 an hour. Well, that's good. That means we'll have the amount we need in less than an hour from now. Which also means that brains can feed Nextlet miners. That's true. That's true. Although it's such a long spoil time that I doubt, unless you're really a crazy person, you would ever set up a build that relies on that. Where it's like, okay, I'll make this build that makes 100 brains a minute to feed the 100 jerky a minute that my Digosauruses need, and then it'll just have a 16-hour startup time. It's ridiculous. If you are playing Pi, you are a crazy person. Ah, true. True. That is a good point. Alright, we do need... we don't really need more circuits, actually. We're pretty good on stuff. Alright, sweet. Alright, well, I know it was a shorter stream today, but we've got some guests coming into town, so I have a few things I need to get done. But thank you all for hanging out and watching, as usual. I do plan to stream some more over the weekend, but as I said, we have guests coming into town, so I don't know exactly when it will be, but I imagine there will be at least one more stream. Tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday. I'm not sure exactly when or what day, but it will happen. I also might... Should I increase the numbers on these? Because the longer I make the belt, the more spaced out everything gets. But maybe it's still fine. I mean, it's a 3-minute recipe, and it's gonna have, because it's always gonna have the 15 that it needs buffered up. Oh, you know what? Oh, this makes me so mad. Okay, mad is not the right word. I'm obviously not mad, but it is frustrating. My brain just did about 10 things at once. So spoil time is not something you can measure. So I was sitting here about to say, the nice thing is that these 15 will always mean that as soon as this recipe finishes, boom, it will immediately start the next recipe, and that means we'll have a full 160 seconds to collect the next 15. That's true of non-spoilable things. But the problem with spoilable things is that since there's no way to measure freshness, there's no way to prevent a weird edge case where once in a while we have the 15 flora ready to go, the recipe finishes, or the recipe's just about to finish, and just before the Vrauks get made, we're not quite there, but just before the Vrauks get made, the 15 flora that's sitting here spoils. And now we have a gap time And as far as I can tell, there's no actual way to prevent that. Because there's no way to measure how spoiled things on the belt are, right? And because there's no way to measure how spoiled things on the belt are, there's no way to get rid of native flora that's close to spoiling. So that there's no way to make sure that the flora that we're grabbing is like unspoiled enough. Now, I mean, there probably is some sort of wacky solution where we're loading some fairly fresh things and then we're making sure that we filter all of it through an you know, because we do have the spoiled first and fresh first option, but that's really finicky to get actual measurements going with that. I mean, you can't really measure anything, not well at least. I literally don't know if there's a way to fix this, which is really frustrating. I really don't like that there's no way to measure spoilage. And there's no way to set a threshold of like only insert if it's at least 50% fresh or at most 80% spoiled or whatever. Like the fact that you can't do any of that is really frustrating. I don't even need it to be that configurable. Literally any option would be good enough. Because I just don't think there's a way to do it. Well, Tyrone, and that's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, it's true. We can limit all of this so that it's always fresh ones that come in. But the problem is there's no guarantee that the fresh ones are the ones that get grabbed by inserters. So there could be a spoiled one that's floating around in here that just happens to never line up in front of an inserter when an inserter wants one. You are right that they average out, and it's 15 that it grabs, so it would be hard for it to grab 15 of the ones that are almost spoiling, but like technically that's still possible, and that makes my brain really mad. And I really don't like that. So I don't know. I don't know if there's an easier way. You know, the more standard way would be to have the flora belt as a separate belt, and then we can, you know, as long as we're only mining so many onto it, it will guarantee that they're only at a certain spoilage. But the ones that are on the sushi belt, because of the indeterministic nature of the flora that get grabbed, it totally could spoil. And but would it ever be the stack that's in the building that would spoil? That's the real problem. It doesn't matter if one on the belt spoils. I'm not worried about that. It's these 15 spoiling that would be a problem. And that's only going to happen if yeah, it's just never going to happen. I mean, it technically can happen. But it would have to grab 15 off of the belt that are all less than 160 seconds from spoiling. Because if they're more than 160 seconds, then that's fine. We'll craft a Vrauk. And we can control the machines to not craft Vrauks. We'll probably have a stop on the machines themselves. No, because then it will spoil the native flora. Maybe we'll stop feeding flora in if we No, well, that would work. We could stop feeding flora into the situation. Yeah, so Gaming Strudel, to your point, it does matter because if the building spits out the spoiled flora, it then won't have 15 to start the next craft. Like Taronin said, it is a tiny production hiccup. It's not really something that I... Like, what we're talking about here is such a minor thing, it really doesn't matter. It's more the, you know, I don't want anything to spoil ever situation that's bothering me. And it technically will provide a production hiccup. It will actually keep us from getting the full, you know, 0.05 Vrauks per second. Now, Taronin, that is another idea, is we could load all the flora into a chest and then unload the same amount, but since it passes through a stack of flora, then it does force it to average out. That is the way to keep a belt averaged out. And then what we could do is make sure we only mine new flora when the amount gets to a certain low number, and then we add that into the box. That, I think, is probably the solution I'll go with. I was thinking about a box that we could use to try to measure the spoiledness, and then we take out spoiled first, but the problem with that is there's no way to measure if it's spoiled enough. So really, I think the only solutions is to make sure the rates are correct. But then if we stop flora, we still are going to end up... Well, I guess we just want to make sure we always make as many Vrauks as we can with the flora that we have. And there will be some flora left over, you know, that doesn't total up to 15. So there will be little bits of like 7 flora that's decaying because we don't need any more Vrauks. And that could be problematic too. Because then what if Vrauks then spin up? That's fine. I think that I can allow. Yeah, exactly, Taronin. That's what I was just talking about. The part-filled buildings will produce crops of spoilage. Because if Vrauks stop being needed, then these little bits in here will all spoil, even if I've stopped flora flow. But then that's fine, because Vrauks aren't needed. And when Vrauks are needed, then the flora flow will begin again. On average, it won't happen to happen right as things are about to spoil, right? The odds of that are already tiny. It's either that this is already spoiled long ago, and now it just all needs to be filled with fresh flora, or it's close enough to not spoiling that it's not within that 3-minute window of tolerance anyway. So I really do think that having a box to average it out is a pretty foolproof solution that will only cause a production hiccup at the beginning of Vrauks spin up period. And we can just buffer enough Vrauks that tiny potential hiccup that would literally only be a hiccup of like 20 seconds or something, you know, is never gonna matter. So, all right, I've convinced myself that that works fine. And I wanted to think through that because this is something we're going to run into more than once, right? This type of situation, we're going to keep running into it. So I do want some form of solution that, you know, is going to work, even though in this particular case, I probably don't even need a solution. I think there are some cases where I will want a solution to the spoilage and keeping things fresh and all that. This is also a long enough belt that we'll probably end up with a little bit more spoilage than we want just because of the travel time. Although it's actually not that long of a belt, now that I zoom out. That's kind of a short belt as far as spoilage goes. You know, imagine this was our flora patch. That would be a bit worse. Oh, I'm just already having nightmares thinking about spoilable things on trains. I'm already freaking out about that. I don't want to think about it, but I'll have to. Why don't animals decay? Partially because it would be frustrating AF. Like, it would certainly add some spiciness to the game if it was like, oh yeah, Vrauks, you know, decay after 200 hours. But I think that would be an unfun mechanic rather than a fun one. Because then you'd have to set up automation for putting modules into all of your buildings, and I don't think that's very fun. So, as much as like at the base level, the idea is not a bad one, I just don't think it would be fun. I think we need more barrels, is what I'm realizing. Because a lot of them are buffered in the buildings. Yeah, the AUGs being tired, that sort of thing works, but that's done through use of recipes. I don't know if it could work to, you know, Vrauks only have a certain lifetime. I don't know how that would work in a way that's fun. Because yeah, I don't want to have to belt fresh Vrauks everywhere. And again, we already have the problem that we can't measure the freshness of something. So it's like, you'd have to make fresh Vrauks on demand with Vrauks that could end up spoiling. It's just, I don't know. And then, yeah, the idea that they can only do so much work in one lifetime is even harder to do, because then they would only spoil while the building is running, which would be different. So I don't know. There's a lot of issues with that, I think. What am I doing? Barrels? Alright, I do need to get out of here. I know I said that a while ago. And here we are talking about spoilage for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, see you guys later. Oh, I didn't take a screenshot. I do need to do that. Take a picture of our creature growing. See you later, Zynerez. You're welcome. See you, Gaming Strudel.